you. Yeah. So here we are live now and moving on to the panel of speakers and introduction. So Lalitji, I'll start the session and then you can show the song, okay? And after that, you can
Okay.
make me the host. So we are live. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone. Here we are on the platform of Metamorphosis, and today, once again, we are here as change makers of the education system, as trying to create an impact through our own experiences, own way of teaching styles, and own way of communication skills experts. What we are seeing in the pandemic and after the pandemic, post-pandemic, the children have been affected to a very large extent, where parents are unable to understand how the system should work. With most of the responsibilities being tied up on their heads and most of the work shows on their own platter, they are not able to understand what and which actions can be taken to make the children excellent academicians and help them scale the life ladder. So today on this platform of Metamorphosis, again, I have a panel of speakers who are going to speak on less pressure, more learning. What is actually the meaning of less pressure and more learning? So the less pressure and more learning, Indian schools transformation leaves parents happy and thankful. While parents believe that the change is essential for the future, teachers believe that this became necessary in the post-COVID world. While some experts believe that while the reduction in teaching hours may prove beneficial for a certain group of students, a one-size-fits-all approach might not cater to the needs of every student. So, most of the parents say that the changes are for good. But what we are seeing is here, some experts believe that while such a reduction in teaching hours may prove beneficial for a certain group of students, a one-size-fits-all approach might not cater to the needs of every student. Shorter teaching hours might encourage educators to prioritize a deeper understanding of concepts over rote memorization. This shift could lead to a more meaningful and effective learning experience. However, students have diverse learning styles and some may benefit from traditional structured learning methods. So here we are on this platform of this less pressure, more learning with amazing topics through the voice of each and every educator who have had experiences in teaching and what are their take on post-pandemic, pre-pandemic and the future of this kind of a less pressure, more learning scenario. So before I invite them on the platform, I would like my technical help to just show the song and then we'll switch on over. So Lalitji, you can show the song.
अगर कोई कर सकता है तो मैं क्यों नहीं, क्या है उनमें ऐसा जो मुझ में नहीं। अगर कोई कर सकता है तो मैं क्यों नहीं, क्या है उनमें ऐसा जो मुझ में नहीं। झांक ले अपने भीतर खुद से आ पूछ ले, कैसी चाहे जिंदगी खुली आंखों से देख ले। मुट्ठियों को खींच गए, सांसों को खींच गए, मुट्ठियों को खींच गए, सांसों को खींच गए। सबसे टकराने को, शिखर पर जाने को मैं तैयार हूँ, मैं तैयार हूँ, मैं तैयार हूँ, मैं तैयार हूँ। मैं तैयार हूँ, मैं तैयार हूँ, मैं तैयार हूँ। मुश्किलें हो कैसी भी मेरे हौसलों से कम है, अंधेरों को चीर देंगे इतना दम है। मुश्किलें हो कैसी भी मेरे हौसलों से कम है, अंधेरों को चीर देंगे इतना दम है। आओ हाथ बढ़ाएं कुछ करके दिखाना है, सारे बहानों को आज से आग लगाना है, मुट्ठियों को भींच गए, सांसों को खींच गए, मुट्ठियों को भींच गए, सांसों को।
Thank you, Lalitji, for all the help and make me the host. So thank you so much. Yeah. So moving on to the today's session, taking forward the topic for today, less pressure and more learning. So I would like to invite Dimple Sahi ma'am and on this platform as the most esteemed educator with a better perspective on what changes need to be done, what changes can be implemented in the current scenario and for the future of the children where parents are able to understand the concept more better. So welcome Dimple ma'am on this platform of Metamorphosis with your expertise and experience and introduce about yourself and the topic that you're going to speak. Welcome ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am, and thank you so much for inviting me over here, and a very warm good evening to everyone else present here. Today, under the topic of less pressure and more learning, I am talking about effective school leaders as role models. Now, when I talk about effective school leaders, I talk about teachers, I talk about parents, and I talk about even probably the owners of the school. So in every educational setting, leaders play a very, very crucial role. And this helps in shaping the culture that influences, again, both educators and students. So let us first look at, the first point I would take over here is adaptability. So when we embrace change and demonstrate adaptability, we convey that learning is a natural part of progress. The impact this has is that educators and students both feel encouraged to be flexible and open to new educational approaches, which in turn fosters a culture of continuous learning. Second I take up is open communication, where when we encourage transparent communication, we create an environment where mistakes are seen as opportunities for learning, for reducing fear of judgment among both the educators and the students. And here the impact it has is the school community starts feeling more comfortable in sharing ideas, in asking questions, they also are able to engage in constructive dialogue, and it promotes a culture of learning. The third topic I would take is okay. The third topic I would take is encouraging or recognition of effort. So we have to acknowledge effort over perfection, because when we do that, we encourage a growth-oriented mindset among educators and students. And the impact is, that everybody starts believing and accepting that, progress is valued. It fosters a positive learning environment, which again in turn promotes a continuous improvement. Next comes as leading by example. We always say that, children listen less but do what they see. So when we approach educational challenges with resilience and a positive attitude, it shows that difficulties are learning opportunities. So both educators and students adopt a solution-oriented mindset. They start viewing setbacks as stepping stones to improve rather than a source of stress. Next is, I would like to talk about encouraging student autonomy. So when we encourage autonomy in their learning, we empower students to take ownership of their educational journey. As a result of which, what happens is students become more engaged, they're more motivated, they foster a sense of responsibility for their own learning. We are also able, the next is providing resource and support. So ensuring access to educational resources and support for both educators and students. This reinforces a school's commitment to learning, and the impact is that the school community is, in turn equipped with tools needed for success, which creates an environment where learning is not hindered by limitations. So there's nothing that can stop learning. So to conclude, I would say that leaders in school setups, whether administrators, principals, educators, parents, everyone, serve as powerful role models in shaping a culture of less pressure and more learning. Their actions and mindset contribute significantly to creating positive, growth-oriented educational environments, which benefit both educators and students. And the impact extends beyond academic success only, but fosters a lifelong love for learning and holistic development in turn. Thank you so much, Sonal ma'am. Over to you.
But wonderful, ma'am. It was good hearing you. I would like to ask you some questions related as per your topic, that leaders as role models. So, considering today's scenario in the education system, what do you think are the skills lacking in the leaders of today? Leaders can be at home. Parents are the number one leaders. In the education system, the faculty, the teachers' own behavior in the class, and how high authorities can create a change in helping the educators start taking the model of walk the talk. So over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Ma'am, if I start from home, it is, the first thing is accepting. We have to accept, what are the limits, and we have to also understand what are the capabilities. So when I do this, when I accept the limits and I know what are the capabilities, I know where to push and where to stop. So that is what encourages the children at home, and then the children also feel motivated and accepted, and, there are less of arguments and, fights. When we talk about it in school, then over there we need to understand the workload part of it, because when, when you look at the educators, they are bogged down with tons and tons of work. I mean, paperwork is the biggest challenge all of us have. So even though we are in a digital world, and though we all have computers in schools and we have everything, but yet the amount of paperwork that we do, and with paperwork, I'm not talking about the corrections. Paperwork, I'm talking about those various lists we sit and make, and, duplicates and triplicates, we are constantly doing that. So somewhere, if that is, one thing where, if, the administrators and the leaders of the school understand, that would be something which would, enhance, would give educators more time to be in class and enjoy what is to be done. Third is our lesson plan, which, we, once we've made it, we want everybody to stick to that. But somewhere we need to, even understand that our lesson plan, we can have plan A, plan B, plan C, because if I go into the class today to teach something, maybe the children are not in a mood to learn. They've just come back from a physical education period, and immediately after that is, I'm going to have a math session. The children are not going to be in a mood to do maths. So in, such scenarios, my lesson plan has to be such that, okay, even if I have to do maths, I can probably have a mathematical game which I can play with them. So that is a flexibility the leaders need to give the educators, where they can, make these subtle changes in their classrooms and take things forward. I hope that answers your question, ma'am.
Yeah, it is actually much needed what you have said, but the visibility is zero as far as our observations are concerned.
True.
Coming to early childhood education, since we both are into early childhood education, how do you think as parents? Because I think when the child is just 3 years or 3.5 or 4 years, the peer pressure and the society core status affects their reputation. And because of saving their reputation, they make their children join so many extra classes and to top in all the areas of life. So what do you think here less pressure, more learning applies? And if it is a pro or a boon, how can that be as per your view?
Ma'am, in the foundational years, I personally feel that children should learn more through play, through activities, through puzzles, through play, through game, because that's an age where their attention span is very low. Their motor skills have not really developed. But when we have play and, when we have games and when we have more of, speaking and talking sessions and more music and dance, there is a lot of learning that can happen there. But unfortunately, we always focus on written. So even when a child is in nursery, the first question the parent comes and asks you is, writing kab start karoge? So here I feel is, when we have parent orientation sessions in schools in the beginning of the year, that is where we need to make parents aware of, the milestones of the child and where and what he will be able to learn in, those in that particular age, rather than, just tell them that, okay, in nursery they're going to learn A to Z and they're going to learn this A to Z, and think all the academic part will still get learned. But what they really learn in the foundational years is social skills, their cognitive development, their fine motor, large motor, gross motor. All this development is what they really need to focus on. So what happens is, when they feel somewhere, they feel, and especially like very often I tell parents that, major of the problem starts in the society garden. When in the evenings they take their children down and they realize the child A going to X school knows his A to Z, and well, my child does not know that. But somewhere they have to start accepting that, till the age of 5, most children are passive learners and they are absorbing everything in their photographic memory. And it is suddenly, so you have to observe your child. Maybe when your child is on the slide and coming down the slide, maybe he is humming a nursery rhyme. Or maybe when he's playing with his toys at home, he is somewhere trying to count, which you are not able to, able to understand. So it is, rather than, take your child and, put him into class A and then activity class B and activity class C. It is spend time with your child, let him play, observe him, and then make a decision on, whether you really need your child to go for so many extracurricular activities,
That is, yeah, that is exactly.
Choose one odd extra curricular activity which the child will really enjoy, rather than, mechanical curricular activities don't really help.
That is exactly what we want, because when we talk about inculcating observatory skills in the children, we as parents, as leaders, should also start developing these kind of observation skills where we are lacking. We go down, start gossiping, start trying to create unnecessary conversations, and we forget the milestone aspects of the child which are neglected. Like you said, you were just talking with a group of a parent and you're there on the slide or even on the swing, the child is saying numbers or humming a nursery rhyme. That is where the parent, as an assessment strategic, can understand that, yes, see, he has learned this in the school, he is humming in the playground. So that means the child has been picking up something which the parents are not able to observe, which the parents are not able to understand the concept. So observatory skills need to be developed.
So that's why I feel, ma'am, when we're talking about the national curriculum framework, that should also be given to the parents to observe.
Exactly. I always focus on that.
it has to be a dual thing where the parent also gives his observation or her
That is
observation,
why,
and
yeah,
the
that is
teacher
why,
gives.
that is why my news to all the Metamorphosis members over here is I have launched a new platform that is for parents and children also now, where parents can come and we as experts and educators can guide them on the right track so that the future of our children is in safe hands. So let us invite more and
Absolutely,
more
ma'am.
parents over there, whether they are at the college level, university level, early childhood education, come forward, take on the seat, hot seat, and start raising your voice. And we are here to help you and support you all. So wonderful, ma'am. Good to hear you, and many more sessions together to create an impact. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Most welcome, ma'am. I too look forward to many more sessions.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Moving on to my second speaker of the day, I would like to invite Ranjana ma'am. Ranjana ma'am, are you there?
Yes, madam. Just give me a
Yeah.
time. My mobile was on charger.
So
I'll
I'll take Anjum ma'am. I'll take Anjum ma'am in the meantime. Anjum ma'am, you take over the seat. Over to you, Anjum ma'am. Anjum ma'am, over to you. Welcome and introduce about yourself, your topic, and your expertise on this platform. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry. So, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Anjan Qureshi, Assistant Professor and Training Engagement Officer at Rajiv Gandhi College of Engineering, Research and Technology, Sandipur. Today, I will be speaking about English and communication skills. So, that is again a very important and, in fact, an interesting topic because we know that nowadays the youngsters and the students those who are studying about 8th standard and all we can say, due to the pandemic period, there has been some gap, not just related to English, but even other. So when we are connecting this English and communication skills, the first myth that is always there among the people is that if you are good at English, that means you have very good communication. Most of the people think this way. If you can speak few sentences in English very fluently, then you have a very good communication skills. But actually, these two things are different. English is a language that you need to learn, to speak. Okay? So, but the other thing that which I would like to say, sometimes the people say that why should we learn English? Is it that important? Yes, it is important because it is a global language. If you want to make your presence globally, if you want that you should be having career opportunities where we can travel around the world and make your presence, then yes, English is very important. You must be learning it. The other thing about English that the people think is that you should be knowing some very good words. You should be always speaking some, very sophisticated language and all that. But I think that is not that important that you get very good words. Speak in a simple language that everyone can understand. It is enough. It is enough most of the times. And because of this fear that they can't speak, they never try to speak. And this is happening with many students, especially from the area where I am, where we are getting 70 to 80% students from the rural areas. And they have finished their basic education in the regional language. So when they come, it is not that they don't understand English or they cannot speak in English, but there is that fear inside them. And you can understand when they come to an engineering college or any other professional course where they dream of landing into a job with some multinational company. So at that time, you can understand that without knowing good English or without having a good communication skill in English, you can't survive. In fact, many companies, many recruiters, when they come, we keep it as like among the eligibility criteria or among the assess somewhere they just mention about this. You should be having good communication skills. So here, these two things come in. You should be knowing English and you should be also having a good communication skill. Knowing English, yes, as I said, most of the students, they know English, but they are very scared to speak it in front of the people. So here comes in, where as an educator, we have to take a lot of efforts in improving their English. So this year, I'm just telling a very practical experience that we are trying, and we have tried for a few students, and we are again implementing it for 2 weeks continuously. Because now the final year batch that we are having, this is the batch which has spent nearly 2 hours, 2 years in COVID. And the exposure that they could get during the first year and the second year, they couldn't get it. And now they are struggling everywhere. So we tried with them with 4 days module, in which we didn't make it, like sometimes people think that directly put them to GD or directly, give them a training of PN. But we did it as a process. Because we know that when a student during the placement round, if he wants to go for a GD, then he's expected to sit amongst the group of students and discuss over some topic. It is not that he should be knowing English. Well, he should be having a knowledge of the subject that is necessary. But before that, he should be confident. He should be having the fear of interacting with the people. So we introduced a number of group activities every day, that they were in mixed groups. Like in the colleges, they are from different departments, so they don't know the students from other departments. Most of the times it happens. So what we did is we mixed them up, and the group will contain boys and girls, and that they should be from different departments. We will not allow like, okay, we four are friends, so we four will make a group. That was not allowed. And then when we give a small activity like, okay, you're going to make a paper chain and let's see who makes the longest chain, or this is your topic in which you have to discuss and you have to make a presentation. So in this process, we saw on the first and the second day, when they were so hesitant to at least stand up and answer some questions. On the third and fourth day, these students, all of them, but was ready to go on the stage and speak. They will stand in group and whatever they had to say, at least a sentence everyone could speak. So this is a kind of process that we try to improve the communication skills. And in fact, yes, not only at the school level, but it is necessary at the college level. In the metro cities, I know it is totally a different scenario. When many students are right from their childhood, they are going to good schools, sometimes even English medium schools. But in the rural areas or the remote areas like where we are living, this is not possible for all the students, even if there are English medium schools, but still they are sometimes not able to, have that good communication skill in English. Why I am saying good communication skill in English, I just started with that. Knowing English and communicating. These are two different things, and this shouldn't be mixed with each other. And when we are encouraging the students, so here we need a very great thing, and which I always speak about, is support, even on this. Because when we give students opportunities to learn English and speak English properly, or to communicate English properly in English properly, you need to support them. Like we just give them, okay, this is the event that you have to handle, where you will be doing anchoring for this. So sometimes they make mistakes in their script or in their writing. So there we have to actually support them. If we just start shouting at them, they will get discouraged. So what we have to do then is we have to explain them. And sometimes it even happened with me. I tell them to write an application, and when they send it to me, there are mistakes. In fact, what they have seen is they just see like the teacher is some HOD is sending a notice and the principal is sending a notice, and they use that kind of language. Well, they have to request, but they write the sentence in such a way as if they are ordering. So this is where which I tell them very nicely. I just tell them, okay, come to me tomorrow. I will do it for you, and then they write it again. So in this process, what is happening is they are learning. In fact, if I don't pay attention to them, or if I'm being harsh to them, So they want to learn, but I support them, I encourage them, and I say, okay, take some extra time, but do it properly. So this is where the kind of support that we are giving, the students are learning. And in communication, one more thing that is very important is sometimes the people neglect is the body language. When there are, competitions like whether it is a speech competition or we keep a GD for the college level and all, someone speaks very well. So people say, oh yeah, he is speaking so good. So he should, why couldn't this person win? So at that time, I tell, see, your body language is very important. It is not only the content that you're speaking, but how you're speaking it, your tone of voice, the way either you're standing or you're sitting, how you're using your hands and how you're having eye contact, all these matters a lot. So you should know the language, but besides that, you should be very careful about how you carry yourself, how you are dressed up, and how you are speaking, your body language. These are all very important things. So when we want to train the students for improving their English or improving their communication skills, so one thing that we shouldn't forget is before that, we should train them on their body language, proper body language. Sometimes even they are not aware of it. It is not that they are not so good and all, but sometimes it may happen that they are not aware of it. Like if I keep a hand in a certain way, or if I stand in a certain way, or how I hold the mic and all. So this is going to have a negative impact. They are not aware, and due to that, they just create a negative impact on the people, those who are listening to them, the people who are seeing them. So this is again very important. And the fourth and the last point in communication skills, which is again neglected most of the time, is listening. In fact, thanks to these platforms where we come together and we not only like we speak and live, but we also listen to others. So listening is very important. Either well, it is not that you just have to come up like, as a very good orator or a very good public speaker, but if you want to communicate properly, because communicate is where whatever you are saying or what you are speaking, the people should be able to understand you. The people should be able to reflect you. So in that case, you also need to listen properly. So sometimes they say that learn to listen and listen to learn. So this is again a thing which everyone must be following. You should be able to listen. You should be developing your listening skills. Well, we don't get like, right from the birth, we don't get it. But it is a skill that can be developed, that can be practiced. So those are the four important things which I think that we should be remembering when we are talking about training ourselves in English or improving our English and also improving our communication skills. So that is what all I had to speak, and thank you very much again, Sunil ma'am, for this
Wonderful,
wonderful.
wonderful. Yeah. So this is actually what the takeaways that I got from you is number one is guide them on the proper track, number one. And hand holding is very important. And number two, what we have to start teaching them now is irrespective of their age, if you have committed a mistake, accept it, only then you will learn. 99% even I have seen that when you try to correct a person, what is the excuse that comes from the, oh my bad, I just made an error. They know it's a mistake. They know they are not aware of it. They know they don't know, but they will never accept कि हाँ मतलब मुझसे गलती हुई है. That is what I say. I also may be wrong. I'm not saying. I also will learn a lot from Ranjana ma'am, from you. But to accept that, yes, I have made a mistake and I will start learning from you is the biggest learning that you give to yourself. वहीं पे जाके सीखेंगे तो सीखेंगे, नहीं सीखेंगे तो फिर गलतियां चलती रहेगी and you will not have a proper mentor to guide you then. Because once a mentor comes to know, it is useless to teach you because you're not ready to accept your mistake. So how will you improve further? So acceptance of a mistake, irrespective of you having 90% imperfections, is one of the biggest learning, lifelong learning that I will see. So hats off to you, and coming back to you again with another round of questions. And I would like to call Ranjana ma'am on this stage. Thank you, Anjum, for this wonderful, precious nuggets. Ranjana ma'am, over to you.
Yes. Thank you, Sonal ma'am, for providing me this platform. I'm happy to present my topic. It is again on communication skill, English and communication skill. Now, first, we should like to understand the position of English in the world. Now, the native speakers of English are UK, USA, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. And English as a second language is spoken in India, Singapore, Nigeria, South Africa. Now, here it is needed for variety of official, educational, professional, and social purpose. Also, it is important in educational framework and taught in schools and colleges. Now, English as a foreign language is accepted in China and Japan for trade and business only. Now, post-independence, English was the language of the elites, the politicians. So they used to send their children to English medium schools. But from 20th century, English became the lingua franca of India. India took it as an international language because it's in science and technology, in international commercial activity. So English became an international language to the Indians, a global language. So parents were very much interested to send their children to English medium schools because textbooks of math, science are in English. Not only that, books of computer and technology in English. Then it was and it is the age of competition. TOEFL and GRE exams, the students have to sit for studying abroad. And in vernacular schools, the maximum failure of students were in English. So parents were only interested in English medium schools. So today, 90% of the parents prefer English medium, maybe more. Now, what are the ways to improve this communication skill? First is listening. Listening is the best skill. First you listen, then you talk. So how to improve the listening skill? By watching English films, to see the dialogues, to understand the dialogues, to learn new words. Then comes English news. They should listen to English news. From English news, what happens? Their GK improves. They learn new words. Then English songs. Students may not understand the accent, but by hearing to the beats, they will understand. And when they understand the emotion, they will understand the words. So with repeated play of the songs, they will understand the words. Next is multitasking. Tell them to keep it in their pen drive and watch it, hear it when they are doing some other activity. So it will be a smooth learning and they will be interested. Next is reading, another skill in communication skill. As listening is to the ear, reading is to the eyes. So they should improve their reading of newspapers. If they don't have time to watch the TV or hear the news, why not read everyday newspaper for 15 minutes? Suggest to students. I remember once I divided my class with 6 in a group because 7th day was Sunday. And each student was given the duty, the responsibility of buying a newspaper and bringing to the class. They will outline the major news and they used to read in the class. Once I asked a student that how do you find? Because she was reading on the newspaper throughout the class. She told me that the moment I buy the newspaper at the bus stop, from where I take the bus to the college, I start reading from there. I read in the bus. It has become an addiction for me. And in between every lecture, she used to open the newspaper and she used to read it. So much she learned. Next is read comics. The comics are written in very easy language. It's humorous. So if they read books on comics, they will learn English. Then they should read regularly. If they find the book which is of their level hard, why not start from children's book? Again, the words are easy there. The sentences are easy. So they will learn those words. Next is visualize. Guide your students to visualize what they're reading, to bring in front of their eyes as an image. In the process, they will learn better. They'll remember the words better. Because when they read newspaper, or when we read newspaper, and we read of an accident, don't we get transported to that scene? We shudder on reading it. So same here, it's visualization. So guide the students in visualizing what they're reading. So there is nothing better than reading. Reading maketh a man. Next is thinking. Listening and reading we encourage. But what about the thinking? If the students don't think, they can't speak. So self-talk. Encourage self-talk. Instruct them that when they get up in the morning, from that time, whatever they're doing till they come to the institution, let them talk to themselves that now I got up from my bed, now I will have a bath, I will brush my teeth, I will have my breakfast, I'll wear my uniform, I'll take my bag, like this till they reach the institution. That is self-talk, and the talk should be done in English, not in mother tongue. Then topics to self. Select topics, any topic, and talk for 1 minute. This can be done in the classroom. Every student should be given a minute to talk on any topic, whether it is dowry, child labor, anything which is easy to talk. Then continuous speaking in class in English. It should be encouraged. Give a topic, and in rotation, one sentences each will speak, like an Antakshari. So the student will be habituated to speak in English. Next, what am I doing? When they are drawing a picture or making Maggie as such a simple thing, let them again that self-talk that I am drawing on a chart paper. Here are the color pencils. I am drawing this. Now I finished my drawing. I'll do the coloring. All this in English. The mind should be speaking this. Then Maggie, I put water in the saucepan. I boiled it. I put Maggie, like this. They should talk, self-talk in English. Our mind goes on talking, but maybe in the 60,000 thoughts every day goes on in our mind. So they are in the mother tongue. So why not in English? Then create buddy system. In the classroom, there should be topics like interview, debate, newspaper day. I remember I made my students, 10 students I took to make 10 questions on a particular topic, which they will ask their subject teacher. So 10 students, one question each, and whichever teacher entered that day to their class, they used to ask. And it became so engaging, so interesting. The teacher too became very much interested, and the students were also very happy. So the boredom of interview was not there. Then debate. Give topics where they can debate on, view and counter view. Divide them in the class. So what happens in all these? Their analytical skill increases. Then newspaper day. Keep a day for newspaper. Tell them to highlight the important news of the particular day. Next in the buddy system is describe your friend. And they will do it lovingly. They have observed how their friend is. So naturally they will speak, they'll describe their friend. Then describe a picture, whichever picture you give to them. They will look at it, think, and say in English. Again, their analytical mind is in force at that time. Then guide them to suggest to speak over Skype in English with their friends, over phone in English. Guide them to avoid translating. We think in mother tongue and we translate it and speak in English. I remember once I had sent my student to the principal and he came back immediately. I asked what happened. What did the principal say? He said, I could not meet the principal because principal corridor mein chakkar laga rahi hai. I asked him, now translate it in English. He said, principal is rotating. So you can imagine that this translation method is very wrong. Next, tell them to become a customer. Go and order in McDonald's a burger. Doesn't matter if you talk little wrong, if your grammar is wrong. After all, you are the customer. They will not laugh at you. So this is encouragement. Then next is substitution. Many words they may not be able to tell, may not be able to know. So if they go for this order of a burger, they may forget a simple thing. Tell them to say something near to it, to describe it. Suppose if it's a tomato sauce, they can say that red chutney type. Immediately, somebody will supply the answer that, okay, you need tomato sauce. Then guide them to speak slow, so less errors will be there. Fight your fears. Make them easy. Make them easy in their skin. Develop their self-esteem. Tell them that the English people are not from other planets. So you can also speak in English. And when you make them easy, they become comfortable in their skin and they will have the interest to learn English communication. Next is vocabulary. If you don't have the stock of words, then it is very difficult to talk in English. So for that, tell them to learn while reading. When they read, they find new words, they must note it down. They will understand how a sentence is made, which word comes first, which word comes after. Then repetition. Whatever they have read, whatever new words they have got, to write that word 4 or 5 times. Also, they must have a pocket dictionary. It's compulsory to have a pocket dictionary so that they can refer to it whenever they need it. Then play around. The vocabulary games are there, crossword puzzle and all. Write a journal about your everyday's experience. This again will help them in their vocabulary. Then WhatsApp group. Make a WhatsApp group. Every new word you learn, you circulate it with your friends, which I had done it, and they became interested, very much interested. We have to make it interesting because English is a foreign language, especially to the vernacular medium students. Grammar. Next is grammar. They have to improve their grammar to talk correctly in English. So repeated reading will again help them to understand the sentences. Know your weakness. Encourage them to talk, to write in English on any subject, and correct them lovingly. so that they come back to you the second time. Parrot method. The parrot goes on saying the same word again and again, repeated. So in the same way, make them repeat the new word they have learned several times so that it sets in their brain, in their mind. Grammar quizzes are there. Online games are there. So guide them, suggest them, or sometimes we should also be with them to give encouragement, motivate them. Now, pronunciation. That is equally important in communication skill. If your pronunciation is wrong, you will become a laughing stock. And we pronounce in our native style of talking. The influence comes in. So what to do? Record. Record yourself. The teacher should first record her voice. Maybe a story she read out in the class, it's recorded, and the students listen to it. Later on, she tells the students to read and record and listen to what they have recorded. In this way, they can improve. Then sing and record English songs, whichever English song they like. Tell them to sing it, record it, and then listen it. After listening, they should go to the original English song and to see what's the difference. What's the difference in pronunciation of theirs and the singers? Then use the mobile dictionary. Should not be lazy in it. Immediately refer to the dictionary. So today we need English. If the students don't achieve the target of English at secondary level, it will be a severe national loss and need to be serious in taking care of English. So to be an effective teacher, give objective targets to your students. So today, everyone is aware of the importance of English in the modern technical age. Thank you.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. So all these aspects from you and Anju ma'am, both were different. Perspectives were different. So I will come back to the second round with a different perspective of how English can be inculcated in early years after doing the session with the fourth speaker. So I have kept the points in my mind, how I need to give you back. So I take forward the privilege to welcome Jitendra Shirke, sir, on this platform of Metamorphosis. And sir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm
Okay,
here.
just 1 minute, yeah. So yeah, welcome, sir. Introduce about yourself and your topic for today. Yeah.
Okay. Jitendra Shirke here. I'm secondary teacher working in a Let M.R. Bellare High School, Rajpuri, near Panchgani, Taluka Mahabaleshwar. I'm teaching English since last 22 years. And my topic is collaborative learning experiences. I would like to share my experiences about collaborative learning. Actually, when I started teaching, at that time, in 2001, I started teaching English. First 3-4 years, I worked hard. After that, in 2006, I got training of British Council. And from that day, I changed my perspective towards my teaching. And in that training, I got that terminology. Which terminology? Just we are talking about. Collaborative learning experiences. What is collaborative learning? Have you heard the names? Hero Honda, Maruti Suzuki. Both companies are there. They want to sell their products in the market. So they came together. One is a local company and another one is global one. They came together and they sell their product. Like that, we have to give opportunity to our students. What opportunity we have to give? We have to provide them ample opportunity to collaborate, to come together and share their thoughts, share their ideas with each other. And I'm overwhelmed because I tried a lot and teach a little bit. But when they started learning from each other, they are friends and they are neighbors. They learn from each other. They mix their ideas with each other. First experience I would like to share. Student of 9th standard. I think that experience happened in 2009. His name was Tejas. He was unable to read a single word. As I am working in a remote area, students have no background of any kind of English background. They are Marathi medium students. And lacking of vocabulary is the main issue. And how to read, I tried a lot, but I am unable to make that student, that Tejas, to read. Then what to do? Meanwhile, I got that British Council training, and I came in contact with the trainers and that terminology, collaborative learning. And after going to school, I handed that boy to his neighbor, means his bench partner. You are responsible for his reading. Whom I have given responsibility? The neighbor, the bench partner. I have given the reading's responsibility of Tejas to his bench partner. When I gave him a responsibility of his teaching, first 2-3 weeks they tried, but they didn't get up to that mark. But in some weeks, they just started learning. They just started reading. First, he started reading a little bit words, means short words, which are not too big. But in a month, I observed he started reading, not fluently, I will say, but started reading with average speed. But in a couple of months, I observed he started reading better. And I would like to share here, he scored 84 marks when he passed in SSC exam. And it's effective. If he is not able to read, then how do I inculcate all other skills among him? It was a big question in front of me. First, we have to enable our students to read. Actually, the processes, LSRW skills are there. First, we have to focus on listening. Then we have to focus on speaking. Then we have to come towards reading. And after that, writing is there. If I am not wrong, LSRW. But here, as some other speakers said, that we all are focusing on writing skill. But these 3 skills are too much important. That's why we have to pay more attention on listening, speaking, and reading skill. Here we are talking about collaborative learning. Here two students come together and they share their ideas with each other. When they share their ideas with each other, there is no fear because they work by their own time. But here, on implementing these skills, I have kept on purpose, I have kept all the activities time bound. We have to focus on time bound because when we get a lot of chance to them, they will distract. If I instruct them, you have to complete this task in these 2 minutes, these 5 minutes, they will focus. Otherwise, what will happen? They will distract. As they are student, they are not care much about themselves. Here, I would like to share another sentence. Who is responsible for students' learning? Who is responsible for students' learning? I think no teachers are responsible for students' learning. Parents are not responsible for their learning. I think that they must have to take their responsibility of learning. We have to aware our students. We have to make them aware. Then and then it will reduce our pressure. And they started learning. When they are in process, the process will go smoothly. Otherwise, it is hectic process. We are forcing them, learn, do this, do that, and too many activities we are pressuring him or her. But actually, it doesn't work. When we made them responsible, then it will definitely reduce our work and they started focusing on their work. Is my own experience. Here, I tried a lot in my schools. My students made cards for learning. What types of cards? Cards of adjective, cards of adverbs. Means they have to match adjective with adverb correctly. Make nouns. Opposite cards are there. And when I got time, I gave them card. Just card. They have to think. They have to learn. They have to do. They have to discuss. Not I. They have. When we gave them a lot of chance to discuss, to think, then and then only they will learn. And it's my proud feeling. From last 20 years, my English result is 100% with distinction. Too many students are above 75 marks in English. Actually, I don't want to share, that is not important part. I am not working for make them pass in SSC in standard SSC. But I would like to focus how to get marks and how to understand English. I am not teaching them subject, I am teaching them language. And when we are working on that broad stage, we have giving them ample opportunity of speaking, reading, writing. Then and then only they will develop. Otherwise, it will not possible for ourselves. So it's my humble request to everyone. We have to give them chance for discussion, for their peer assessment. Who will assess? They have to assess. They have to learn. They have to discuss. They have to think. Means what activities are we doing? we doing for them? We make aware to them. That's important. What are the benefits of uh, collaborative learning? In my point of view, there are some benefits which I would like to share. Peer teaching is there, peer learning, peer thinking, peer writing, peer discussing, peer editing, peer creating is happen there. Develop self-management skill. Also, we can develop critical thinking skill. We can keep our learners engaged. We can also take active participation of students. We can guide or assist our students by this collaborative learning. They can help each other by this process. Here, the most important thing I would like to share, they can avoid memorization. Here, the self-directed learning happen, self-motivated learning happen. So collaborative learning is, in my point of view, is the most important aspect of today's generation. I think that's it from my side. If
Wonderful.
anyone like to ask me any question, okay.
Yeah, I will
And
come
thank
back
you,
to
ma'am, for
everyone.
giving me.
So wonderful, sir. Wonderful. You have actually shared your real experiences and you are doing a wonderful job, because that is where we as educators and people who are connected with me are planning to go to remote areas also to create a change, because there is where actually a dearth of real impact needs to be created.
Yeah.
And
Nice
I
to hear.
think when we all collaborate together, that is what you emphasize mostly on. When we collaborate together, and Metamorphosis is actually about collaboration. It is not about me, it is not about you, it is not about Dimple ma'am. It is about us. It is about we together as a society planning to create a wonderful change in the education sector by trying to reach out to those students who do have talents, but they don't have a proper mentor and a platform. They have a talent, they have a lot of talent. I have seen the people of migrant children and all, they do have a lot of talent in them. And that is where, when I say India mostly relies on these kind of workforce, 99% of India relies on these workforce, because the talent in them is needed for the running of the industries in the urban sector. अगर हम देखा जाए तो उन लोगों में इतना टैलेंट है कि हमें मैनुअल लेबर अगर चाहिए तो वो लेबर को हमें पहले एडुकेट करना पड़ेगा, ताकि वो आने वाले 21st जनरेशन के हिसाब से सेट हो जाए. बट हम उनको वो मौका नहीं दे पा रहे हैं, हम उनका वो टैलेंट उनके स्पॉटलाइट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. We are just trying to focus on ourselves, on our achievements, our rewards. But our rewards are definitely, अगर इंडिया में एक बहुत बड़ा चेंज आता है, हम कहते हैं इंडिया विश्व गुरु है, G20 की बात करते हैं, नहीं, we are not, we are still lacking behind. We are still not that ahead. The other countries may or may not be, they might have their own problems, but your India too needs well-learned educators who can reach out to the remote areas. आप जैसे हो, डिम्पल मैम है, और भी कितने सारे हम जैसे लोग हैं जो जाना चाहते हैं और जाके वहाँ एक impact create करना चाहते हैं. Because I think I had some conversation with some people from the rural area. मैम, ये सब कहने की बातें हैं, यहाँ पे स्कूल स्टार्ट करने के लिए पैसा नहीं है. स्कूल चलो हम स्टार्ट कर भी लेते हैं तो 4 टीचर्स को हमें रखने के लिए उतना वो नहीं है कि टीचर्स में वो टैलेंट ही नहीं है. तो हम उन टीचर्स को लेके उनको अडॉप्ट करें, वो छोटे से एक टाउनशिप का अडॉप्ट करें, हम आपस में 4 जन मिलके. ट्रैवलिंग इज नॉट अ इश्यू, वी कैन ट्रैवल, वी कैन गो. अगर कहते हैं ना, अगर हमारा विजन सही है, मिशन सही है, तो हर सफर 4 लोगों के साथ भी आसान हो जाता है. पर वो मेहनत करनी पड़ती है, उसके लिए आसान नहीं है. मेहनत तो सबको करनी पड़ेगी. मेटामॉर्फोसिस भी मेहनत कर रहा है, वो अकेले ही नहीं है. तो वो यही मेहनत कर रहा है कि रीच आउट टू द रिमोट एरियाज, रीच आउट टू द गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर्स, रीच आउट टू पीपल इन द एजुकेशन इंडस्ट्री, कि हमसे सुनो, हम क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं, हमें क्या चेंजेस चाहिए. It's not about me, it's not about Dimple ma'am. We don't want awards, we don't want anything. We want a proper change to happen. कि हमारे आने वाली जनरेशन के जो बच्चे हैं, चाहे वो रिमोट में हो चाहे अर्बन में हो, उन बच्चों को आगे कैसे लाना है. We talk about films like 12 Fail and all that. This ये सब ठीक है, momentary entertainment है, but practical approach से हम देखा जाए तो वो नहीं हो रहा है. Practical approach से नहीं हो रहा है. And आप जैसे लोग और भी हमारे साथ और भी लोग जुड़े हैं जो बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं. And that is why I always say Metamorphosis invites people like you, change makers like you, कि आपकी आवाज कहीं ना कहीं उस कोने में तो जाएगी, पहुंचेगी, कहीं ना कहीं तो एक छोटा सा वो कहते हैं ना चिंगारी क्रिएट होगा. So
Yes.
thank you, sir, for that presence over here. No doubt about it. And can I have all the speakers in one frame with the cameras on? So yeah, over to all the speakers. The second round of questions is, since we have focused more on the major topic and the main topic, now my question to all of you is one by one is, since Metamorphosis is also an early childhood education platform, and it is focusing more on the age group of 1.5 to 8 years, where the brain formation takes place in a very big impact. The brain networking system plays a lot of impact about the environment the child is, the people associated with the children, and the kind of learning environment that is needed. So I would like to come to Ranjana ma'am first. I said, Ranjana ma'am, how can one, as a parent, as a teacher, as an educator, or as a society change maker, can create a situational learning? Situational learning means at that particular moment of learning for the child, whether you are in the school, whether you're at home, to help the child pick up the basic skills of English and communication. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. What I feel is that it's a triangle: parents, teacher, and the student. So where the student is in focus, the parents and the teacher should work together. The teacher, whatever the problem of the child, both should discuss. If both don't cooperate, then the child won't be able to learn. So what is the name of the child? To ask the child that you speak about yourself, your problems, your strength, your weakness. Even a small child will say, I love this. Now the parent should also come to focus and inquire with the teacher what my child has learned, what is his problem, where is his weakness. And it should be taken very, in a very cooperative manner by the parents. There should not be any complaint from the parents. And the teacher should also not tell in a complaint mood. So working together, the triangle will be a successful one.
That is what we actually want, like sir said, collaboration is
Yeah.
of all stakeholders in the education system, whether it's early childhood or whether it is the institutional student. So collaborative measures have to be taken into consideration. Wonderful, ma'am. So Anjum ma'am, over to you. My question is that since you are in a university campus, and you must be experiencing people having little bit of struggle in speaking of the basic skills. What do you think keeps them away from not being able to open up, from what is suppressing them to not being able to open up, and how these can be tackled?
So this was, I think, the fear that even I, when I was speaking, I said that there is a fear because we sometimes think that English is a foreign language and we have to learn it and we have to speak it. So that fear that they have in their minds, like if I speak it, I'm not able to, there is a, you can say, confidence. They have, their confidence is not well developed. They are less confident in it. They are scared, and because of that, they are scared to speak, and because of that, they don't learn. Because if you want to improve, like even Anjana ma'am, as she was telling, there are so many different tips that can be used by. In fact, these tips can be used at any age. Most of the stuff can be used at any age, not only for early childhood, but even if an adult wants to improve his or her English, he can be using these tips. But they don't come up. They don't dare to actually speak. And because of this, they lose opportunities to improve the language. To improve. So this is the reason why they are not doing it. And either we are, and I am not so much in support of like the spoken English classes and all. Not so,
Many,
because
many,
many are there, but I'm not,
many are
because
there.
even if you go to a class, not only about English, but any other language that you're learning, you can go to class, okay, you can learn, okay, this is the basic grammar and this is how to speak. But still, I take those efforts to
Definitely.
practice it every day. It can't be achieved. So we
That
need
is what my question is, because I see so many parents that ma'am आप हमसे पैसे ले लो, हमसे तो नहीं होगा. But as teachers, if you think that you have that in you, and this parent is taking so much of loan and trying to educate their children, struggling to make the ends meet कि बच्चा पढ़ लिख जाए, उसके बाद भी बच्चा वो नहीं कर पाता है, उसको एक्स्ट्रा क्लासेस ज्वाइन करवाता है, and the pressure mounts up. Like I say, less pressure, more learning. The pressure mounts up. So why not we as educators stop these and help those children by whatever way we can, so that the pressure is also less, learning is impactful, and parents पे burden भी कम पड़ जाए. Because I think most of the parents have now taken loans to educate their children and to make their child super achievers. वो 3 साल का बच्चा हो या वो यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल का हो, कि मेरा बच्चा ऊपर सुपर अचीवर होना चाहिए, बाकी सारी चीजों पे वो लैक करे. That is the biggest drawback that is there. We need to abolish this system. Let the child go slowly. जहाँ गलत है हम teachers वहाँ है. And definitely Anjumam, like you said, we have to be firm and balanced. बहुत ज्यादा अच्छा होगे तो वो सुधरेंगे नहीं, और बहुत ज्यादा harsh भी होंगे तो उनके लिए वो खतरा भी होगा. So we have to create a balance with each and every different student as per their own capacity levels. So yeah, wonderful, wonderful from all. And Dimple ma'am, over to you.
Yes, ma'am.
As an early childhood educator, like you said that I think even Anjana ma'am has said books about books. I think even Anju ma'am has said about books and all, and you also spoke about some books and all. So now coming to this recent trend of books being launched, so many independent authors coming up, and a book on principles, a book on rising stars, a book on shining stars, and all these. Do you think, can these books create an impact in English and communication, or they are just kind of, what do you call that? I would like to say blank dash.
See, the books, it depends on who's reading those books. So are we having those books for children? Are we having the books for the adults? So now, if we are talking about books for children, then ideally the books should be with bigger pictures, just 1 or 2 or maybe 4 words over there, where the child is able to, read those 3-letter and 4-letter words initially, but is able to describe the picture. So when we talk about learning a language in the early stages, it's always LSWR, that is listen, speak, read and write. So it's LSRW. So it's, when it comes to communication, we, let the child listen to a lot of things.
Definitely.
What we are talking, I remember, the picture talk we used to have, or, you just talk to the child without, any this thing. You just talk to the child, let him listen. Then after that, give him an opportunity to speak. And when they're small and you correct them, they do not have that fear of my friends will laugh at me, my parents will make fun of me. They don't have that. So, when you give them more speaking opportunities when they are young, definitely their communication skills increases, their confidence increases.
Definitely. That is what we say, security and trust.
Exactly.
They need security and trust. प्यार
Right,
तो
so
सब
there's
देते ही है. प्यार तो सब देते ही है. Parents will definitely overburden them with the love. But along with that, to become achievers in life, we need to give them the security and the trust. कि हाँ, no matter what, my teacher is there with me. My
Absolutely.
my mentor is there with me to guide me. My parent is there with me. Even if I fail, I know there is somebody to hold a hand behind me. And I
And
always say that, for my metamorphosis members also. Okay, come forward. We all there in this journey together. Neither you are super achiever, neither I am a super achiever. We all learning from each other, tits and bits. So yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and more than that, ma'am, even otherwise, I think we need to give them a very patient hearing every time they come up and tell us anything. So, they might find a small little feather on the floor and they will want to come and talk to you about it. So, you have to very patiently listen to them. Not that, you are looking into someone else's book and, the child is showing you the feather and you're like, oh, yes, 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 go keep it then.
That is where most educators fail. उनका काम हो गया, then they want me time. अच्छा अभी मेरा काम नहीं है, अभी बाद में देखूंगी. वो बाद में कभी आता नहीं है. And that particular moment when the child is really going to pick up the learning from you, that time you are not paying attention to the child's small thing. Like you said, a feather in the hand or some, even if I think
Any small thing they find.
yeah, we may miss out the first showers of the rain, but the child has observed. The child will come and say, "Mama, barish hui hai, teacher, barish hui hai." So the child has observed the coming of the rain, the sound of the rain. So that is where, when we talk about assessment practices, this is where assessment can be done. Yes, the child has understood the
The
concept.
child is aware of what's happening around him.
Yes. So that is where parents need to be educated, more observant. And I think Ranjana ma'am is also a grandmother, and definitely she will also try to come up with more such insightful approaches to early childhood as her experiences with the grandchildren and all. So over to you, Jitendra sir.
I didn't teach in the early childhood. Maybe, as you said, with grandchildren, I learned.
Definitely, ma'am. You see, I'll tell you, ma'am, it is only from early childhood that we are able to send the children to you. जब तक वो early childhood से नहीं होगा, हम आपके पास नहीं भेजेंगे. So early
correct.
childhood educators ही उनको पूरा groom करेंगे अच्छे से, तब जाके अंजू मैम के पास और आपके पास भेजेंगे हम यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल के लिए.
True.
But by the
Actually,
time,
ma'am,
yes, sir.
we have to feel free. We have to feel free our students to ask questions.
Definitely,
we-
interrogative skills that I see.
This is
We
the
need
most
to,
important thing I
yes,
would like to share here.
yeah.
When we feel free them, they will ask and they will come forward. And definitely we can easily solve their problem. What is the problem? We
When
have
we
to create that
like,
atmosphere first.
yeah, when we talk about, see, when we talk about observatory skills, when we talk about interrogative skills, when we talk about critical thinking, but are we trying to create a certain kind of a practical approach? मतलब बहुत लोग critical thinking पे बात कर रहे हैं, conferences भी हो रहे हैं, but still
Yeah.
that impact has not been created. What is
Yeah.
actually critical thinking? Critical thinking is a very vast area from
Yeah.
3-year-old child to college level child. How educators can create that kind of an environment in the classroom कि बच्चों के critical thinking analysis हो जाए.
Actually, we have to provide them ample opportunity for discussion. When they
Definitely.
discuss with each other, they will come to some points, come with some points. And when, as an educator, we are there, it is our duty to help at that particular point. And when we help them, they will proceed further. And
Exactly.
after that, where there is a necessary, we have to assist them, we have to guide them. And then we will develop critical thinking among them.
Very much true. But for all this, as Dimple ma'am said, we need to have a lot of vitamin P supplement. What is that? Patience.
Patience should be there.
विटामिन पी का सप्लीमेंट होना हमारे अंदर बहुत जरूरी है. अगर वो नहीं होगा, we cannot create a change, because a problem of 3-year-old सामने वाले लगेगा बहुत छोटी है, and a problem of for educator dealing with a college level child is different. दोनों का पेशेंस उतना ही है, उनका उसके हिसाब से, उनका उसके हिसाब से. And we need to have, as a parent, as a grandparent, as a mentor like you, as Dimple ma'am, पेशेंस होना बहुत जरूरी है. बिकॉज आई सी मेनी एजुकेटर्स व्हेन दे से अरे नहीं वो बच्चे को छोड़ दो, उसका तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. So that
ऐसा
time when you tag a child like this or a student like this कि इसका कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, that is where the child feels I am good for nothing. And we are trying to make those certain kind of affirmations for the children कि नहीं, हम टीचर ने मेरे दिमाग में डाल दिया है मैं गुड फॉर नथिंग हूँ, या मेरे पेरेंट्स ने मुझे ऐसे बोल दिया है. तो
Actually, ma'am, in Panchgani there are too many English medium school, and the students came from Panchgani and nearby villages to my school. Approximately 11 to 12 villages students are there. They are coming by bus because teachers are here in my school best teachers. My
wonderful.
whole team is best.
So are
That's
you in
why-
Panchgani? Are you in
Yeah,
Panchgani?
yeah. Near Panchgani. Rajpuri is a village.
Definitely. So
And
one
I'm-
day I think one day Metamorphosis will definitely plan a school trip with remote people, how education functions over there, to have a clear analytical approach, and which we both as collaborators of education system can implement in our areas if we are missing or lacking in something in the urban areas.
Yeah,
Definitely. So
yeah, welcome, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
yeah,
Welcome.
I'm in process of we're making a 2-day trip, educational trip around after August, September. Let us see to have support of some of the members. चाहे हम 4-5 ही हो, but let us start.
डोमिनिक सर को भी
नहीं,
लेके आओ साथ में.
हाँ जी, yeah, definitely.
Dominic sir
Ranjana
को भी
ma'am,
लेके आओ.
Dominic sir, yeah.
Yeah.
See, we need healthy people, healthy influencers to handle each other. अकेले तो कोई नहीं कर सकता है ना. अगर साथ में और भी मेरे सीखना चाहेंगे, देखना चाहेंगे, और अपने अंदर वो एक लर्निंग जो हंगर है लर्निंग की उसको सटिएट करना चाहेंगे, तो डेफिनेटली चेंजेस तो हो गए. So it was a wonderful, fruitful discussion with all of you, and I think it's Kiran ma'am and Manjeet ma'am over there. If they need to ask anything, over to the participants over here.
Manjit is my student, was
Okay.
my student rather. He is present here from Delhi.
Wonderful. So both of you can ask questions. Unmute yourself.
Ma'am, yes, good evening. All our discussion, I'm according to my opinion, first teacher should develop the attitude of giving. We have no attitude of giving. We teachers are
that.
only salary oriented. Okay. Yes, 5 hours is completed. That is our attitude.
Wonderful. That is, yeah,
Urban area,
that
especially
is
in
what,
urban area.
yeah, that is what Metamorphosis is focusing more on. We are just giving and giving. We are not asking for
Yes.
anything back. We
Yes.
just want to give out. Yeah. So
And one sentence you told कि yes, many time teachers told इसका तो कुछ नहीं होगा. That is very wrong. That is very wrong. और ये जो बच्चे के मन में बैठ जाता है ना, वो जीवन में नहीं निकलता है.
yes, very much. That is what I and Dimple ma'am are mostly focusing on early childhood education. Because early
Exactly.
childhood education में ही 1-2 साल तक तो बच्चे को बड़ा लाड प्यार दिखाते हैं, मेरा बच्चा, मेरा राजा, मेरा ये, मेरा वो, चांद का टुकड़ा. बस जैसे जैसे बच्चे के वीकनेसेस पता चलते हैं स्कूल में 2.5-3 साल में, या जैसे जैसे बच्चे के लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटीज का पता चल जाता है, द पेरेंट्स आर नॉट एबल टू एक्सेप्ट कि मेरे बच्चे में ये प्रॉब्लम आई
हम
है.
उसको डिसेबिलिटी क्यों बोले भाई, उसका
Yes.
अगर इंटरेस्ट कहीं और हो तो
Definitely.
वो हम नहीं
So
फाइंड
that
आउट
is
करते.
why, yeah, that is why we are here
कोशिश नहीं
to
करते.
help our voices reach out to everyone across the world कि बच्चे में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बच्चा तो बेचारा आया है, हमने उसको कैसे बनाना है वो हमारे हाथ में है.
Exactly.
So thank you ma'am for your feedback.
Child is perfect.
Yes.
Lacking in
प्रॉब्लम
us.
हम में है, प्रॉब्लम एडुकेटर्स में है,
Yes.
पेरेंट्स में है, बच्चे में नहीं है.
Yes.
Wonderful. So
We
over
have
to
lacking
Manjeet
of
ma'am.
dedication. We have lacking
you.
of dedication.
Thank you so much ma'am. Thank you for your
Thank you.
feedback.
Thank you.
So, Manjeet ma'am, are you there? Manjeet जी है वहाँ पे नहीं?
Yes ma'am, I'm Manjeet Kaur.
Yeah, please, yeah.
नहीं मैं सुन रही हूँ. It's अभी मेरे बच्चे तो बड़े हो गए, but it's very good to hear all this after so many years. And yes, I think ये बहुत parents और teachers का दोनों का मिलके ये होता है. We should ये एक mutual understanding से हमको बच्चे को मतलब अच्छे से देखना चाहिए. And that's what I believe. क्योंकि मैंने भी अपने बच्चों को देखा है, इनके स्कूल में भी कई ऐसे हैं जो थोड़े लोअर क्लास से आते हैं, तो पेरेंट्स आर नॉट एबल टू टीच देम एनी हाउ, वो एक इंफीरियरिटी में रहते हैं कि हमें ये नहीं आता, वो नहीं आता, वो बच्चे भी कहीं ना कहीं लैक कर जाते हैं वो चीज। तो वी हैव टू ऑल एक्चुअली कम टुगेदर। हम लोग तो मेल्स भी शेयर करते हैं कि ये लैक हो रहा है, अभी तो टीचर्स भी बहुत साथ देती हैं एक्चुअली। तो आई थिंक
that is the reason Metamorphosis is for the educators, by the educators, and
यस,
the educators. So we all
मुझे
use
बहुत
it as
अच्छा
per
लगा।
our-
इट्स माय एक्चुअली फर्स्ट टाइम विद मैम, सो आई एम एक्चुअली आई विल डेफिनेटली आई एम विद यू ऑल। कभी भी ऐसा कुछ भी
Thanks a
होगा तो
lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for being present over here also, and your feedback is definitely appreciated, ma'am. So yes,
Thank you,
Kiran ma'am, you want to say something? I think she has raised your hand. Kiran ma'am, आपका कुछ कहना है? No.
I want to share
Yeah, Kiran ma'am.
my own experience. My own experience.
Please tell you.
Yes. मेरा बच्चा शुभम जो बिल्कुल शायद 3rd या 4th में था, राइट, और बहुत नॉटी, वेरी नॉटी, ओके। तो और हम जॉब कर रहे थे, और उसका जो स्कूल था वहाँ थोड़ा इंग्लिश की ये लैकिंग थी, तो हमने कहा चलो इसको ट्यूशन के में डालते हैं। ट्यूशन में गया, उसको मार पड़ने लगी वहां पे, तो उसने आके बोला हम नहीं जाएंगे। हमने कहा क्यों, क्या हो गया? तो हम गए टीचर के पास, तो टीचर बोलती है इसको कुछ आता नहीं है। तो हमने कहा नहीं आता इसलिए तो आपके पास भेजा है, हमको मालूम है उसको नहीं आता इसलिए हमने आपके पास भेजा है। और वेरी नेक्स्ट हमने कहा नहीं अब नहीं जाना है, नो नीड।
I have heard this a lot from many parents. Even the tuition teachers and the coaching classes want students who are already achievers. They don't want
क्रीम, आपको क्रीम चाहिए?
हाँ
भाई अगर वो क्रीम है तो वो खुद ही कर लेगा।
उनका ये कहना है कि एक बच्चे की वजह से हमारा रेपुटेशन गिर जाएगा, तो वो एक बहुत बड़ा ड्रॉबैक है हमारे सोसाइटी और एक स्टिग्मा है, which we will abolish definitely, slowly we will abolish slowly। हम देखो हम डायरेक्ट टारगेट तो नहीं करते किसी को, बट यस जो सिस्टम में गलत है वो गलत है। दैट इज आई ऑलवेज सी,
यस,
दैट इज
और नेचर है। अगर हम अपने बच्चे को टीचर के पास भेज रहे हैं तो मेरा एम क्या है? लर्निंग ना। और आप अगर हमसे देखो, हम ये शब्द नहीं बोलना चाह रहे क्योंकि हम भी टीचर हैं कि आप पैसा ले रहे हो, पैसा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं, हमने आपके पास भेजा है, दिस इज योर ड्यूटी। और क्यों भेजा है? क्योंकि आई नो कि लैकिंग है, राइट। तो आप अगर बच्चे को इस तरह से बोलोगे तो उस बच्चे के मन पर क्या होगा? वो तो कभी नहीं
एक्चुअली
सीखेगा।
टीचर्स का कोई भी नेगेटिव कमेंट जो है वो बच्चे को साइकोलॉजिकल बहुत हर्ट कर सकता है,
Yes,
और वो लाइफ
और
टाइम उसके मन में
लाइफ टाइम होता है, लाइफ टाइम के लिए हो जाता है।
चाइल्डहुड आई थिंक that's what I'm saying, चाइल्डहुड ट्रॉमा रह जाता है। Not only
Yes.
childhood trauma, any kind of a negative remark on a child, whether you are adult or whether you are a college level student, एक ऐसा रिमार्क अगर आ जाता है ना, वो बहुत टाइम लेता है जाने में, पर जाते जाते
Yes.
वो एक ऐसा स्कार
Yes,
छोड़
of course.
देता है, वो निकलता नहीं है फिर। And
और फिर उसके लिए उसके लिए हम लोग को फिर बहुत कुछ करना पड़ जाता है, फिर पास्ट लाइफ रिग्रेशन कराओ, काउंसलिंग कराओ।
You know what, ma'am, I always say everyone, ये सब चीजों से दूर रहोगे ना तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा, because as educated people, as intellectual people with a superpower brain, we don't need to rely on artificial intelligence. We have artificial intelligence inside us. हम उसी को अगर हम अच्छे से प्रोडक्टिव वे में यूज करेंगे तो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस जो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस है वो आर्टिफिशियल ही रहेगा, हमारे रियल इंटेलिजेंस को आगे लाना है।
एंड द पावर व्हाट इज विद इन यू,
यस,
उसको क्या जरूरत है? उसको आप थोड़ा सा पुश करो, और उसको आपने डिप्रेस कर दिया, और वो हमेशा के लिए डिप्रेस
और नहीं। और दूसरा ये है कि अगर आपको नहीं आता है, अप्रोच एवरीवन, कोई ना कोई किसी न किसी को सीखने को तो मिलेगा ही। That is why I always say everyone. So anyway, thank you so much for your feedback.
Thank you, ma'am,
feedback
for
and your
giving me
presence
chance.
over here. And thank you, Ranjana ma'am, Dimple ma'am, Jitendra sir, and Anju ma'am for such an insightful discussion. As we are on the way to bring a change in the society, bring a change in the mind and the mindsets of educated people also. Metamorphosis is for the educators, by the educators, from the educators. So thank you so much everyone for your valuable discussions over here. Good night. See you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night.